Next unit we're going to be tackling is state and local government. This unit encompasses two chapters in your text, Chapter 8 and Chapter 9. They're both pretty small, so I decided to put them in one, just state and local government. One of the reasons that I put them into one unit is just because they kind of match up well together. We've looked at this before, and we know that the federal government's rules and the Constitution affects every citizen of the nation. State government only affects people that live inside of that state or work inside of that state. Local government affects everybody that works or lives in a town or a city. But each one, whether it's federal, state, or local, is modeled after the federal government. They each have three branches. They work a little bit differently, but they do have the three branches of judicial branch, executive branch, legislative branch. As you can see here, it kind of works out that way. In the Pennsylvania government, we have a governor who is the chief executive, the state legislature. Pennsylvania has a bicameral legislature, and the PA Supreme Court and other lower courts in Pennsylvania. This is all allowed and all set up by the 10th Amendment. As I said before, the Constitution covers every state in the Union, every citizen of the country. However, the 10th Amendment is powers reserved for the states. It gives states the rights to make laws on elections, schools, highways, alcohol, fireworks, all these other small laws, marriage laws, drug enforcement, things we've talked about before, all fall under this 10th Amendment. States can decide usually for themselves these types of laws unless they disagree with the Constitution. The state can't pass a law that goes over the Constitution. That's just a rule. We've talked about concurrent powers before. A lot of this unit is just review. These are powers that are shared by the federal and state governments. These are just 4 examples listed here, but there are more. State constitutions. A lot of the state constitutions predate the U.S. Constitution. As a matter of fact, the U.S. Constitution was modeled after the Virginia Constitution. So you see a lot of similarities in state constitutions, also among the federal Constitution and the various state constitutions. Typically what you have is a state legislature, legislative branch, that's set up like the federal Congress. Most states have bicameral legislatures. However, some states have unicameral legislatures, just one house. There's not a Senate, there's not a House, there's just one house. We live in Congressional District 14 in Pennsylvania. Jim Marshall is our state rep. Alder Vogel is our state senator. Currently, Pennsylvania has 203 representatives, and 50 senators. And again, that's based off of population. 50 senators, no matter what. 203 representatives, that can change. The composition changes from, we may lose representatives in certain districts, or districts may form new districts. There was a big battle in the state last year about redistricting, and we were actually going to be combined with another district, but that didn't happen. Current governor of Pennsylvania is Tom Corbett. This is not Tom Corbett, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger, former governor of California. However, the requirements to be governor is that you have to live in a state, have to be at least 30 years old, you are elected to a 4-year term, and the role of the governor is very similar to that of president, except that it's just in your state. Also, the governor has a cabinet just like the president does. The governor of Pennsylvania has a secretary of education, a secretary of commerce. All of these governors have a cabinet just like the president. Courts are set up in a very similar way, except that our judges are elected. They're not like, in the Supreme Court where they're appointed. Pennsylvania courts maintain and interpret state laws. Trial courts are held by county, and then smaller courts would be municipal and justice of the peace. Some of you know about the justice of the peace. Local government functions the same way that state government does. It's just in a smaller venue. Again, you have the 3 branches: mayor, executive, legislative, judicial. The mayor is the chief executive of a town. There's a difference between a strong mayor and a weak mayor system. Usually it's more important for cities. A weak mayor system, the town council can override the mayor's decisions. Really not the case in a strong mayor system. He is in charge of local police. He has to carry out the laws that the city or town council passed. Have to be 18, live in the town or city, registered voter. Our current mayor is Rick Smith. The city or the town council is our legislative branch. They pass laws and codes for the town. Those can include a lot of different things, different ordinances like, how much of a lift kit you can have on your truck, how tinted your windows can be, when you can burn, what's curfew, things like that, things that affect your town. Municipal courts and magistrates, that's your local judge. Our local judge is Judge Nicholson. If you get a speeding ticket in town or if you blow through a stop sign, you would have to go see the magistrate down across from the post office. They deal with truancy, they deal with fines. If you guys get into a fight in school, you have to go see the magistrate. They are our town judge. And as I said before, you have the three branches. Federal, state, and local just each have smaller versions of each branch, but they are all the same. All they are is miniature versions of each other. You have the federal government, which is the big one overall. It has three branches. The state government functions in many of the same ways. It has three branches as well, and same thing with the town government. This is a pretty easy unit, so I would expect you all to do well.